Welcome to the Voice of Diary. Hope you like the first part of the story. If you don't listen to the first part, listen that first, then you will relate this story. So without losing any time, let's start the second part of the story. Put on your earphones, because this is the Voice of Diary. By the time the divorce was finalized, I thought I was done reacting. I was wrong again. People started coming back. Not loudly, not apologetically, just casually. Old friends texting like nothing happened. Mutuals asking how I was holding up. Even a couple who had clearly taken her side suddenly remembered my number. Narratives collapsed slowly. Then all at once. One night, a friend I hadn't heard from in months asked to meet for a drink. We sat across from each other, awkward at first. Then he finally said it. "She told us you snapped, that you went cold overnight." I nodded. "Did she mention a hotel?" He didn't answer right away. Then, quietly, no. That was the moment I realized something important. I didn't need to correct the story. Time already was. But she wasn't done. A month later, she tried her last move. She emailed me directly, ignoring the no-contact clause just enough to stay in the gray area. The message wasn't emotional. It was strategic. She wanted a revision to the settlement. Claimed she had new financial hardship. Claimed I had more capacity to help. Claimed cooperation would show good faith if future issues ever came up. Still entitlement. Just dress better. I forwarded it to my lawyer. He replied with 2 words, "Absolutely not." Her response came fast. Angry this time. Accusatory. She said I was enjoying her struggle. That I had changed. That this wasn't who I used to be. She was right about one thing. It wasn't. I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, I heard through someone else that she was telling people I had won, and she had lost everything. The framing was almost impressive. She managed to turn consequences into martyrdom. Then came the twist I didn't expect. Her job let her go. Not because of the divorce. Not officially. But word travels. When someone tries to involve employers, people start asking why. HR departments talk. Reputations ripple. She blamed me for that too. I ran into her by accident a few months later. Grocery store. Same aisle. Same brand of coffee we used to argue about. She looked different. Not broken. Just stripped of certainty. She tried to smile. Failed. "You seem fine," she said. I said, "I am." She studied my face like she was searching for guilt. Or regret. Or weakness. "Do you ever think about us?" she asked. I answered honestly. Only when someone asks me what ignoring red flags costs. She flinched. Just slightly. She told me she never meant to hurt me. That she felt trapped. That things got complicated. I said, "You weren't trapped. You were comfortable." That was the first time she had nothing ready to say. We stood there in silence, surrounded by people who didn't know the history, didn't feel the weight. Then she nodded once and walked away. That was it. No dramatic apology. No closure speech. Just reality settling where entitlement used to sit. Later that night, I thought about revenge. The kind people imagine. Exposure. Humiliation. Public reckoning. I realized I already had it. Not because she suffered, but because she lost control of the story. She gambled on the idea that I wouldn't walk away, wouldn't document, wouldn't push back. She bet on my patience being weakness. She was wrong. I didn't need to destroy her life. I've just stopped protecting it. That's the part people don't warn you about. Sometimes the strongest response isn't loud. It's final. I rebuilt quietly. New routines. New boundaries. A version of myself that didn't negotiate with disrespect. And here's the thing. When someone says, "We're just friends," and you find the receipt, it's never just about the receipt. It's about whether you believe your own reality when someone else benefits from you doubting it. Then life tested whether I'd really moved on, or just learned how to look like it. About 6 months after the grocery store encounter, I got a call from my father. He doesn't call unless something actually matters. "She reached out to us," he said. "Your wife." Ex-wife. That word still felt new. I asked about what. She said she wants closure. She said she's changed. Of course she had. She didn't contact me directly anymore. That bridge was burned and documented. So she went around it. Parents. Mutuals. Old connections she knew still carried emotional weight. That was her pattern. When a door stayed closed, she tried the windows. She sent a letter next. Handwritten. Slower. Intentional. The kind of thing people write when they want sincerity to look expensive. She apologized. Not clearly. Not specifically. Mostly about how things got out of control and how neither of us handled it perfectly. She said she was in therapy now. Said she finally understood what she lost. She asked for one conversation. Just one. No lawyers. No agendas. Just two people ending it the right way. That line almost worked. Almost. Because the old version of me would have gone. For answers. For validation. For the hope that it all meant something more than paperwork. The current version did something different. I showed the letter to my lawyer. He didn't tell me what to do. He just asked one question. What outcome are you hoping for? I didn't have an answer that justified the risk. So instead of meeting her, I replied through counsel. Brief. Polite. Final. No meeting. No conversation. No reopening settled matters. I wished her well and requested no further contact. She didn't respond. 3 weeks later, I found out why. She was being sued. Not by me. By the friend's ex-spouse. Turns out, during the fallout of their affair, financial details surfaced. Trips charged. Shared expenses disguised as work. Lies that cross from emotional damage and immeasurable loss. Subpoenas don't care about intentions. I was asked to provide documentation. Timelines. Receipts. Messages I already had archived. Everything I'd collected quietly, methodically, without emotion. I complied. Fully. Truthfully. Cleanly. That was the real revenge. Not yelling. Not exposure posts. Not confrontations. Just facts entering rooms where lies used to live comfortably. She tried to fight it. Claimed manipulation. Claimed misunderstanding. Claimed she was also a victim. But entitlement collapses fast under oath. The case dragged on for months. Settlements. Negotiations. Consequences she couldn't reframe or soften. I was never in the courtroom. I didn't need to be. By the time it ended, she lost more than money. She lost credibility. With institutions. With people who once believed her version without question. And I lost nothing. That's when it finally hit me. The strongest revenge isn't punishment. It's detachment plus truth. I didn't chase justice. I prepared for reality. Looking back, the signs were always there. The confidence with which she lied. The assumption that discomfort would keep me quiet. The belief that being calm meant being passive. She confused patience for permission. I don't hate her. Hate keeps you tied to the past. I just don't carry her anymore. Life now is quieter. Cleaner. Built on clarity instead of compromise. I trust slower. I listen harder. I leave earlier. And if there's one thing I know for sure, it's this. When someone says, we're just friends, but needs secrecy, money, and hotels to maintain it, they're not asking for trust. They're asking for access without accountability. If you've ever ignored your instincts because someone sounded convincing, stick around and subscribe. This channel isn't about drama. It's about recognizing the moment silence becomes self-respect and choosing it anyway.